tragedy into triumph. Dave Brown joins us now with more. David.
Well, what may once have been a tragedy for Monty Montano is now a blessing. It's a blessing for what he is able to do with his blindness. Monty shares the challenges he faced while going blind with area children who are facing challenges of their own.
Did anybody get an idea when I walked in what may be special about me?
There are many things special about Monty Montano. Today he is at the Washington Children's Center to talk to the kids in the Latchkey program.
That's a good idea. I can't see very well at all. Yeah, I can't.
Monty is completely blind. He's been this way for the past 4 years. Through the Society for the Blind Speaker Bureau, Monty talks to area kids about going blind, adapting to being blind, and living a full life without sight.
And you called it a stick. The word is a cane. See that? Yeah.
But Monty is more than just blind. You notice this when he talks. He uses his own experience with the loss of his sight to inspire kids to overcome problems they may have.
I just like to put that little seed in their mind that addresses itself to challenges, and also how important they are that they believe in themselves. Becoming blind is a challenge because you're going to have to learn to do things differently. But you are also facing one of the biggest challenges in your life, and that challenge is learning.
But Monty didn't always believe in himself. When he started going blind, he went in a tailspin of sadness.
Yeah, I cried a lot.
It was his family, his son, that returned him to the land of the living. And it's his work with the Society for the Blind and these children that keep him going.
I've got a lot. I've received a lot from my society, from my country, from the people that love me. And what I want to do more than anything else is to put a little bit back.
Now you were given a chance to give to the Society for the Blind this weekend in their 14th annual Bike for Sight. You can get more information on the Bike-a-thon by calling the Society for the Blind. Now, if you know of an everyday hero, let me know about them. Send a letter to Dave Brown in care of the Everyday Hero segment, 4655 Fruit Ridge Road, Sacramento 95.
More than change lifestyles. It ravages bodies and shortens lives.
When Roger Craig saw the barriers, he tried the left, he tried the right, and if they didn't work, he went over them. And that's what the diabetic has to do, is to face the world realistically and go for it. Early in my life, I made a decision that I wasn't going to stop living because of diabetes.
For nearly half of his life, 49-year-old Monty Montano has dealt with diabetes and its complications. The illness brought on kidney failure that led to a kidney transplant. And 4 years ago, it stole his eyesight.
There's a sense of loss, and with that loss comes anger, despair, depression, many things you go through as you, come to grips with it. But then you have to make the decision, are you going to stay there in the dark in a corner, or are you going to take that first very difficult step to get your life back in order? 3 and 5, is that correct?
Yes.
1, 3, and 5.
Very good.
The Sacramento Society for the Blind has been one helping hand as Monty did that. They're even teaching him Braille.
Okay, G-O-O-D, good.
Right, all right.
About 1/4 of the people served by the Society for the Blind lost their eyesight because of diabetes.
It's not an N, this time it's an O again.
Even though you're on crutches, huh? You're doing fine.
Okay, Kendrick, you can hobble on over and find a seat wherever you can.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, how are you?
Hi.
Great. Well, first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of all these. What's this called? What is this called?
A cane.
Yeah, it's called a cane too, but they have 2 different purposes. This is a cane that aids me in walking, because I have a wooden leg, and it just helps me as I'm getting used to it. Once I get used to it, I hope I won't need the cane, this type of cane. Now this one, the one thing I want you to remember about it is the color. Right in here. What color?
White.
White. Okay. Yeah, and it's red also to warn people at night that you have this cane. The reason I want you to notice it's white, it tells you that I'm visually impaired or to some extent blind. in all the states in the United States, if you see somebody carrying a white cane, it lets you know. Pardon me?
With the red tip.
Well, not necessarily. The red tip is not necessary. The white is what I want you to remember. There's canes that have all kinds of different warnings. There's even canes, can you imagine a cane that has a built-in laser that can reach out and tell you about things coming?
No kidding.
So they can have a lot of different kinds of cane, but white means I'm visually impaired. Another thing I want you to know about this cane is it helps me get around. Oops, see there? I'm not trying to pick a fight with you by hitting you in the ankles, but I use this to sweep it back and forth so I can tell where I am. So I don't, don't walk on a step, or like I did one time, step on a skateboard. Went out to get the newspaper, didn't have my cane, stepped on a skateboard, choo! Landed on a lawn, hopefully, which is better than landing on the concrete. White cane. The other thing I want you to notice is people that may not need glasses. One way for me to tell you if I'm not used to my cane, I don't have it out, that I'm visually impaired, is wearing dark glasses maybe where it's not appropriate because there's sun to do so. There are three reasons that people that may be visually impaired to some degree have dark glasses. One is, of course, to let you know that they're visually impaired. Number two reason is even though my eyes, and I'm totally blind, there's no way I could see any light at all. Even though I'm totally blind, my eyes can get hurt by the sun. And of course, if I can't see the sun, I don't know what's there, my eyes can get damaged. So I wear them to protect my eyes. And the third reason is, does anybody know who Stevie Wonder is? Somebody raise their hand and tell me who Stevie Wonder is, but before you talk, I want to hear your name. Okay, raise your hand, and Mrs. Peterson will acknowledge your hand.
Okay, Nicholas.
Say your name.
I'm Nicholas,
Uh-huh.
and Stevie Wonder is a musician or a comedian.
Uh-huh. He's an entertainer. And see, some people, when they lose their eyesight, their muscles get real weak, and their eyes do not coordinate. Sometimes it can be very distracting. So I asked you, Nicholas, to say your name first because I want to know where you are. Pardon me?
Right here.
And I want to, even though I can't see you, I want you to know that I'm paying attention to you. The way I want you to look at your teacher to show her that you're paying attention. So therefore, when you say Nicholas, I can find where you are, and by looking at you, maybe I don't see you, but I want to let you know that I care enough about you to look at you and pay attention. So those are the three reasons people who are visually impaired wear dark glasses. Now, what I want to do now is just tell you a little bit about myself, and then we'll have some questions if you have some, we'll deal with some questions. Now I want you to remember, there are no dumb questions. There aren't any. I may give you a dumb answer. That's possible, but there are no dumb questions, so don't be embarrassed. I'm a volunteer with the Society for the Blind, and this is what I do. I'm retired, and I do this because I like doing this. I come out to the schools. The school I went to last was Florida High School, and at that time my total count since I started doing this is 9,522. So I've talked to quite a few young adults like yourself, all the way from the college level to latchkey kids. The Society for the Blind is an organization here in town, and the most important thing I want you to remember about the society is we receive no funds from the government. The government does not give us any money. We do anything that we do strictly as volunteers or with contributions that people make to us. We've been in Sacramento for 35 years, and at no time have we received any public assistance. And if you ever need any help, anybody you know that has problems with their eyes, please call us. In a few moments, I'm going to give you some bookmarks for you to keep, and on it we'll have some the telephone number. And I'm going to give this to Mrs. Peterson right now so she makes sure everybody can get one.
Lindsay, would you take them for me? I'm videotaping you, Monty, so
Okay.
I'll get them to go ahead and... Yeah, Lindsay's got them.
Okay, I'll tell you what, you hold on to them until a little later. We don't want to hand them out right now, but when we start talking about Braille, then I want everybody to have them. Okay, now, The most important thing I want you to remember today is that for young adults like yourself, the reason they may lose their eyesight is because of an accident around the home. That's the way it is. And it's very important that you be careful around your home, in the garage, or in the kitchen with sharp things or chemicals. And your eyes are very precious. Your eyesight's very precious, so be very careful. I lost my eyesight because of something called diabetes. Now, if you have family or friends that have diabetes, I don't want you to be worried. Very few people who have diabetes lose their eyesight. So my purpose here is not to frighten you. I don't want you to be frightened. I want you just to know a little bit about blindness. So diabetes, and I'll tell you what it does for people if they have eye problems. Y'all know what the retina is?
Yeah.
All right, that's great. Now, when the light from a source, the sun, a light bulb or something, reflects off an object, it comes through the cornea, the pupil, through the vitreous fluid, and it hits the retina, right? And your retina has nerve endings at the end, but it's real smooth. And these nerve endings, there's cones and there's rods. And they'll be able to see color or black and white shades with reduced light. And then your brain takes those nerve impulses and tells your mind what's out there. Well, when diabetes is in advanced stages in people, those tiny blood vessels in the back of your eyes get very thin, very weak, and they break. And blood comes out. Now, if the light is to get to your retina, it must pass that vitreous fluid. But if that fluid becomes filled with blood, then the light can't get through. That's the first thing that happens to my eyes. Those little blood vessels, because of diabetes, get real thin, they break, and the blood leaks into the vitreous fluid. The second thing, the retina, that smooth thing where all the nerve endings is, because the blood vessels break, it becomes wrinkled. Now, can you imagine going to the movies, and if somebody took that great big screen and wrinkled it, you couldn't see very well, could you? Because it would be all out of focus. That's what diabetes did to my eyes. But I still have vision. There's a difference. There's a difference, a very important difference. Eyesight is the able to acknowledge, to receive light, and to tell your brain something. That's not working, but I still have vision because in my mind, I can visualize the room, I can visualize my home, I can visualize a lot of things. And another thing that maybe will give you a clue, when you dream, are your eyes open?
No.
But you do visualize scenes, don't you? So that's what I can visualize. So as I become used to you, I know Nicholas is right there someplace, and I'm trying to make a vision picture of everything in my mind. Like I really like football. I can't see it, but I can visualize it because I like it so much. And I'm going to tell you one thing, if there's any doubters here, the 49ers are going to take Dallas out next year. Any questions now? Let's have a show of hands. I want to be called Monty. Mrs. Peterson will acknowledge your hand. And please say your name so I know where you are, and I want to know your name. Okay, are there any questions?
Okay, we got lots of questions.
Okay, good.
Kevin, let's start with you. Tell them where you are first.
I'm right here.
Okay,
I'm Kevin. Monty,
yes.
what is that brio on your glasses?
Okay, I'll tell you what that's about. Sometimes when I go to very young kids, kindergarten and first graders, and I'm explaining to Braille, sometimes it's hard for them to understand that you read Braille the same way you read print. You start here, and you go left to right. This says left. This is your left, isn't it? I have Braille, I wrote left. But if you want to write Braille, you have to do it backwards. You have to start at the right side, and you press down, and then when you turn it over, you'll be able to feel it with your sense of... Yeah, there you go. Let's go through the senses. We have a sense of... Great. We have a sense of... Great. We have a sense of...
Taste.
And the one we already talked about?
Touch.
Okay, we have 5 senses. I don't have eyesight, but I have my other 4 senses. So in my life, I try to utilize the other 4 senses to compensate for the loss of eyesight. Good question. Okay, we got a lot of questions. Let's move it.
Okay, another one, Liz.
My name is Liz, and I have, like, when you first became blind, did you, like, stop your regular daily activities, or did you just, like, did you sit and mope around? And
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Let me say something. When you have a loss, and I'm sure some of you maybe have lost a pet, or maybe a good toy, or maybe one of your friends moved away, and that's called a loss. And it's very, very normal to feel sad, to feel depressed, and even a little angry. And that's what happened to me. But do you stay mad, sad, and angry?
No.
At first I used to did I mope? Oh, poor Monty, blind, the world's over. Well, you go through those spells, but you don't hang around, you get going. And I want you to remember one thing today. It's a challenge, and you all facing challenges. And today, the biggest challenge in your life is learning, education. The things that you learn are going to help you make a success of your life. And when you have a successful life, you'll be happy. So don't be afraid of challenges. Don't ever be afraid of challenges. If you say, I can't do math, maybe you won't be able to do it. And you have to believe in what in order to meet a challenge? What do you have to believe in?
Yourself.
Yeah, that's right. When I say 3, I want everybody to say, I believe in myself. 1, 2, 3.
I believe in myself.
That's the first thing you need in order to overcome a challenge. The first thing, and that's the first thing I needed. I had to believe in myself. Can't hang around and mope all the time, Liz. So what happens, you believe in yourself. Now the second thing you have to believe in, those people who really care about you, those people who love you, your parents, your sisters, aunts, uncles, family members, friends, they really care about you. There is no child anywhere that is not loved. No place. But you have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in those people who love you. Now, when I say 3, I want you to think about it. And say, I believe. Think of the people that you know love you. And I want you to say, I believe in those who love you. 1, 2, 3.
I believe in those who love me.
Great, that's good. But I'm going to make a word of caution here. Now listen to me. As you go out that door, there's going to be people that say they love you. They're going to be out there. They say they love you, but they don't. They're going to try to put junk in your mind. And they're going to try to put junk in your body. And what are you going to say?
No.
Oh, I don't even believe that you believe that. What are you going to say?
No.
That's it. Great. Wonderful. Good question, Liz. How about some more questions?
Okay, more questions. Okay, go ahead. Tell me your name. And then
I'm Leslie, and I've got 2 questions.
Sure.
Do you live by yourself?
No, I live with my wife, and she's sighted. She's got total vision.
And isn't it kind of hard to get dressed and stuff?
To get what?
Dressed?
At first it was, yeah. But no, I don't even think about it anymore. See, it's like math. When you first start fractions and you first start some of those things, this is hard. But once you learn, it's not. You don't even think about it anymore. You don't even think about it anymore. At first it was, you need a challenge, believe in yourself, believe in those people who love you, practice very hard, and you'll be a success. Is that both questions, or do you have another?
No, that's
it.
That's it?
Okay, Kristen.
I'm right here.
Uh-huh.
How many years have you been blind?
A little over 6 years now.
Okay, Christy.
Hi, I'm Christy. Can you see any light, or is it just all dark for you?
Well, I'll tell you, I do not see any light. So if it was completely dark in here, and all of a sudden we had floodlights going every which way, I would not perceive any difference visually. But I do not see black. I see a soft gray. if your eyes are sort of neutral so that they can receive varying intensities of color and light, they should be a neutral shade, I believe. So what my mind perceives is a gray, not a black.
Interesting.
Good question.
Lindsay Dollison.
I'm Lindsay, and when it started bleeding in your eyes or whatever, did it hurt at first or anything?
Not physically. In other words, I didn't feel like a stinging sensation or anything. And I don't now. I have no sensation of any kind of pain. It hurt from a sense that I knew it was going to happen because I had diabetes, so it was an emotional and spiritual thing. But like I say, life's too beautiful to sit around just feeling sorry for yourself. And I said, hey, I got a lot of things I want to do. So you overcome loss, you overcome pain, and you just keep on trucking. Sure.
Okay, Jeff. Tell them where you are.
Oh, right here. Okay. Like, if you're like gonna go get something to eat, how do you know when you open the refrigerator? How can you feel what you're gonna eat?
Good. That's a real good question. That's a big question. And I think the biggest thing that I can tell you that will help you understand is the word organization. In my home, I make a mental picture of where things are, and everything has a place, and you put everything away in its place. So if my children come over, and I have 4 children, they're all grown, so if they use something, they have to put it back where it was. Because if it's in plain sight for them, is it in plain sight for me? No. See? So organization is very important for me. So when I sit down and I make a mental picture of the refrigerator or where my stereo equipment is and all those kinds of things, I use that picture and go to it. And my wife puts things back basically the way we're used to having things. But like, remember I said about compensation? You compensate for different things even though you do not have your eyes. I have a little radio. And if I'm working and I have to leave where I'm working, I'll turn this radio on so I can always get back where I want to be if I'm coming back to that spot. I have 2 birds in the center of my house, and one's name's Dilly and one's name's Yukon. And if I go, they'll whistle, and I get my bearings, the use of my
Hearing.
So it's those kind of things that allows me to go to the kitchen and find things in the refrigerator, a place for everything, and everything in its place. Good question.
Sarah.
I'm Sarah. Is your leg just like wooden up to the knee, or is it wooden all the way?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's called an insert. Below my knee, it's called stump or residual leg. It goes down here. But this part up here makes a little cup, and it fits in there so I can have knee action. But from about right here down, pretty solid.
Okay. Another question, Nicholas.
I'm right here in front of you, and what is it like? Real hard to tell what you're doing, or do you like know how, like, if you're sitting down at the computer, do you know what button you're pushing?
It's like certain things you learn through practice. It's like dialing a phone. You know, you learn where the numbers are, and you can dial. It's just like if you ever seen accountants on an adding machine. Boy, they don't even look. I mean, they're blazing. And it's the same thing with a computer or a typewriter, or going over to your computer and doing different things. My stereo equipment. I have braille on my microwave, my washer, my dryer, the dishwasher. Just learning how to compensate for different things.
Brent.
I'm right here. What did it feel like when you were blind? Right when you were blind?
When I first went blind?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of feelings that goes through, you know. You get angry, you get, upset, but then the thing is, you look at it, and what happened with me, and this doesn't happen with a lot of people compensate for a loss in different ways. But for me, I started saying, this is something that's going to test me to see what I'm made of. And I told myself right after I went blind, what have I always wanted to do that would be hard, but I'm not going to take no for an answer that I can't do something. I always wanted to parachute. And I did. Went up 3,000 feet, parachuted, came down. A lot of people didn't want to, they wouldn't do it if they had their vision. But what I'm trying to say is that the various things in life that makes life wonderful and worthwhile, for me, presented a different type of a challenge. And how was I going to do these different things that I still want to do? Understand, there's some things that I just can't do, or can't do well.
Like drive a car?
But there's a lot of things I can do, and I really enjoy doing it. And it's the same way with yourself. You look around right now and you set up some goals and objectives, what you want to do. Don't tell yourself you can't do them. Right here in this room, we may have somebody that's going to invent a cure for diabetes or cure for cancer, or maybe another Stevie Wonder. Don't tell yourself you can't do it. Set up some goals, objectives, work hard. Hey, the world is yours. It really is.
Courtney?
Are both of your legs wooden?
No, see, sometimes when I get my cane, I might try to tell people, is that my... I always got to make sure I hit the right leg, because believe me, the other one is not wooden.
Would hurt if you hit it, huh?
Anybody else?
Okay, Leslie.
I'm right here. When you get bored, what do you do for entertainment?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I love music.
Good question.
Oh, I love music. Like I tell you, I love football. Football's my favorite, and I tell you what I like. I like high school football, and Pop Warner. I like to go to the football games, and I like to get involved with people around me. And I usually go with somebody that can explain to me what's going on, just a few words, and that's what I like. Music, y'all have music inside you, and music really makes life worthwhile whether you have your eyesight or not. And, I play harmonica, trying to learn how to play the keyboard. I have a guitar. Make music, inside, outside, all the time.
Okay, another question. Nicholas?
And I'm Nicholas. Can you walk normal with your wooden leg?
Well, about as normal as I could at this stage, because my residual leg's still getting used to the leg. And then you see I have a surgical shoe over here. Yeah, I had to have some surgery done on this leg. So right now, with the cane and everything, I get around a little bit. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be walking pretty good. You can't even tell here. Maybe 6-7 months, sure.
It takes some learning again because it's like having a new kind of leg. Yeah. Okay, Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff and I'm over here. I was wondering if you could show us your leg.
Sure, absolutely.
Looks like a regular old leg, only shiny.
And there's a little belt up here that hooks it in and makes it tight. And, like I say, I have about this much left. There's a cup in here. And I have a liner that's always built to my... Because my stump will change throughout my life. So this liner that fits in here will be changed in order to accommodate changes in my leg. And it fits into this other wooden part, which stays pretty good. You know what? I can even change this foot. All I got to do is take out that bolt and put another foot in there if I want one that's softer or harder. That's about it.
Do you have other softer or harder?
No, right now this is the one I'm accomplishing. It's sort of in the middle of the road. As I get better, I'll get a softer foot where, like your foot's very flexible. As I get used to it, I'll get one that's more and more flexible.
Okay, Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. How many surgeries have you had?
Surgeries? Well, let's see. I've had, I guess 3 basic surgeries. One to amputate the leg here. Then I had one over here. It's called vascular surgery. Well, what they did is they took some blood veins and some arteries and changed them around so that they could get blood to my feet a lot easier. And then on this left foot, I had surgery on one toe.
What about the other surgery you told me about before. Kidney?
Yeah. One of the problems with diabetes, there's a lot of complications, but one I had is my 2 original kidneys failed to function. So I have a kidney donated to me. So I have a kidney donation. Right in here, I have another kidney. Gets rid of all the toxins in my system.
Okay, let's see. Who hasn't asked one? Kristen.
Did you feel, I'm right here, did you feel anything when they made your blood vessels stop, like when they made your blood vessels grow back together with little laser things?
Yeah.
Did it hurt?
Well, it was not a real pleasant thing, because what happens is when they do that kind of vascular work, it's called a graft. And when they make a graft in your leg, you get intense and hard swelling in these different spots. So it felt like I had a whole bunch of bee stings. You know, you get swollen by bee sting? And that felt unpleasant, but I wouldn't say it was painful.
Okay, Kristen.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
How long did it take for you to get blind?
Okay, let's take that one. I went from legally blind to totally blind in 3 months. That's pretty fast. Some people it takes a lot longer. Now, legally blind, let me explain this to you. Legally blind means that, your name is Christy?
Yeah.
Now, let's say, Christy, you and I were at a football field, and we were looking at the scoreboard, and we were at the end, let's say we were 300 feet away. If I have to see the same thing that you see at 300 feet, if I have to move within 30, then I'm legally blind.
Okay.
And totally blind, of course, means I have no light perception whatsoever. 3 months I went from legally blind to totally blind.
And the other question is your leg comfortable in the,
This one you're talking about?
yeah.
Well, it's not like having, your other leg back, but it's pretty comfortable. It's a little heavier, and of course it's stiff, but I would say it's comfortable. You get to a point you don't even think about it hardly anymore.
Isaac.
This has nothing to do with blindness, but
Okay.
I just like the question off the top of my head.
Sure.
Before you were blind, did you like video games?
Did I like movies?
No, video games.
Video games?
Oh, I see what you're talking. Yeah, right. I think of all the people I know. My wife and I had video games with an old Atari system that came out pretty good games. They had the best games at first. Yeah, I enjoyed them, but of course the big game and those. I don't know. Do you remember Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Oh, gee whiz, we Pac-Man our TV to death. I think it's permanently etched on our video.
I'm not too good at that game.
Yeah, that was one of
the strawberry levels.
also ping pong. It was just a simple.
That home game? Yeah.
We ping ponged, and another one was Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And then there was one called Seamus. You ever seen Seamus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the Atari system, but we're thinking about buying an IBM compatible because they have a voice synthesizer where I'll be able to do a lot of software work, and it'll tell me.
It'll talk to you, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Okay, Jeff, down here.
Right here. And, when you're gonna write a note to somebody, how do you know, the line you're gonna write on? How do you know the lines you're writing on?
When you're writing a note to somebody.
Yeah.
If it's something that's extensive, I have a frame. It's a real tight wooden frame, and they have steel strings, like a guitar. The 6th string in the bottom is real thin. It has horizontal lines that you lay on a sheet, and you straighten it out, and then you write in there. And let me show you something else here. Maybe I didn't even bring it with me. I have, when I'm supposed to sign my signature, a template. And basically it's I guess I didn't bring it with me, I can't find it. Basically it's a little plastic, about the size of a credit card, but it has a little square cut out of the middle. And when I'm going to sign my name, they put it over the signature block, and I just write right on it.
So you know exactly where to sign. That's great.
And you can get a template that'll fit right over your checks. You put your date up here, pay to the order of, and then you write the figure, and then you write it out, the script, then you sign it, and you can make a note. So what they do is they give you a plastic overlay, you lay it right on your check, and you fill with the pen tip, and you just fill your checks in just like anybody else does.
Do you know where to fill it in? Okay, Brent.
I'm right here. Do you walk around with the cane and both canes, or do you walk around with one?
Well, when I walk around, right now because I need a little bit of extra help, I use this one. And probably if I start going outside, I'm going to have this painted white. Because even though it's a walking cane, the most important thing about a cane is it's white. So I have this painted white. And right now I'll be using this, but most of the time when I do walk, before I had my amputation, I use the other one, this one here.
Okay, more questions, Christy.
Over here.
Okay?
When you had an operation in your toe and your upper leg, did that have anything to do with diabetes?
Yes, right. One of the things, like I said, with diabetes, your eyes are very sensitive because of the small veins. But you have arteries down here and veins that collapse, and basically my foot was starving for nutrients. And in order to save the rest of the body, because it was putting such a load, the best thing to do is just to amputate and because it was going to die on me anyway.
They took off his foot to save his life, right? Yeah. Okay, Leslie.
Don't you get kind of sad sometimes when people say, oh, look at that, isn't it pretty?
No, I don't think so. No, let me tell you, what's your name again?
Leslie.
Leslie. You know what makes me sad, makes me cry? When I read a paper, and they're always cutting down our young folks. Because you hardly ever read the paper and they tell you that we have some darn good kids out here. What you read is somebody somewhere did something weird. And a lot of people that don't know you, the way your teachers know you and your family and I know you, they think all kids are bad. And that bothers me. Because I know that we have a lot of wonderful kids. You are our future. Everything that's going to come to our country is going to depend on you. And I know you're made of the right stuff. And when people cut you down, it makes me very, very sad because they don't know you. You know who Walter Cronkite is?
No.
He used to be a news guy. He used to be on news. He used to be a real favorite. And on the radio he says, you should talk to your children. I think Walt's pretty smart, but I think he's got it backwards. I think we have to start listening to our children. Okay, Kristen?
Do you sleep in your wooden thing, or do you usually take it off before you sleep?
Well, I always take it off because it's really not comfortable. And the main reason is, when I get up and I have to go to the restroom, it takes me a little while to put this leg on. And, if I'm in a hurry, I don't want to mess around. I just jump in my chair and I'm off.
You go to the wheelchair. Okay, Liz, did you have another question? You can't remember it. Okay, Nicholas, you do.
Is it, I forgot.
Okay, Isaac, you do.
Have you ever had to hop? Okay, I'm over here. Have you ever had to hop on one leg to get somewhere?
Oh, yeah. Well, not necessarily like if I was going to go around the block on one leg or something. But when I first got amputated, it takes a long time because you get such intense swelling before you can get fitted for a prosthesis. So my chair, we have two restrooms, and I can't get my chair in the one restroom, so I have to just sort of hop, holding on to the doorknob, and then I get over and hold on to other things so I can do, take a shower and things. So yeah, and I don't take a shower with my prosthesis, so I do a little bit of hopping.
Kevin.
What's that thing on your wheelchair right there?
I'm sorry? What?
What's the thing on the wheel of your wheelchair?
This thing?
Oh, I think he's talking about your brake.
Yeah, this is a brake. You see this little rough thing here? It's on a pivot bolt, and then this wheel is a special type of wheel because I go to football games so much. It's an outdoor wheel. You notice it's got a real rough tread, and this has got a rough. So when I clamp this down, you can clamp. I'm not going anywhere.
Otherwise, if this was sloped, he might slide right into you.
Yeah, let me tell you, I do all the laundry in my house. I wash the dishes, I make half the meals. The only thing I don't do is dust. My wife said, no dusting, you break too many pictures. But I was doing the laundry, and all garages have a slope so that if water breaks inside, it'll go out the door. Well, I didn't put on my brakes, and I stood up to put clothes and sort clothes in the washer to the dryer or something, and the chair wasn't there. It was rolling its way down, and the door was open. It went down the ramp there, because we have a driveway like this, and it was out the street. So I had to get down on hands and knees, go around looking for my wheelchair. I don't try to do that too often.
Nicholas, you remember your question?
Yeah. Can you still do things that you usually did before you were blind, or do you do some things or not all?
Well, before I went blind, I used to really like electronics. Well, I still like electronics, but I used to build things. And I used to like to do the soldering and, do with the transistors and the diodes and the capacitors and everything. But right now, it's so delicate that I just can't do that kind of fine work. But most everything else I do, I'd love to read. Let me show you.
I was hoping you'd bring that out. This is one of my favorite things that he's got here.
Anyway, this is the way I read. The Library of Congress makes available books. And what I do is I order different books when I get my catalogs, and I get them on cassettes. Let me try to demonstrate this for you. This is just a part of a tape that I made in order to demonstrate things. Have you ever heard of speed reading? Somebody raise your hand, tell me what speed reading is.
Anybody? Kendrick, we haven't heard from you. You can say it. You don't know what speed reading? Jeff, what do you say speed reading is?
Speed reading is almost like when you're skimming the words in a book and trying to read really fast so you can get it over.
Right. What you're doing is you're looking for key words, and you're not concentrating on the ups and the ands and the thus. Gee whiz, I don't know just really what a good speed reader can do, but I heard that John Fitzgerald Kennedy, our former president, was able to read 6 papers before breakfast. Now, I don't mean everything, because his staff marked off the important things in each one of the papers that he read, and by looking at these key words, he was able to get the gist. Well, I can listen.
Kevin, could you move your head over a little bit so I can get this on the video? Your head's right in the middle of his tape.
This is a special tape tape recorder that's on loan to me by the Library of Congress.
Thanks.
Now, this is something I want you to think about. Not only is speed reading allow you to read large quantities in a small amount of time, but because in order to be an effective speed reader, you must concentrate and be able to focus. You can also retain so much more of what you read. So when you go home to do your homework, get rid of the distractions. Learn to focus, to concentrate. And I'm going to show you with this tape recorder how I speed listen. Hello, are you going to talk to me today?
Chapter 1. Strange Behavior. The Mystery of Altruism.
Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to slowly speed this up. And what I want you to do as it speeds up, to start concentrating and focusing and get out the key words. And challenge yourself to see how well you can focus.
Another ordinary man. A balding, middle-aged bank examiner with a grizzled mustache and small beard. Those who knew Arland Williams, Jr. were as astonished as the rest of the world at his behavior one January afternoon in 1982. It was nearly dark in foggy, bitter cold Washington that day as homeward-bound cars choked the 14th Street Bridge over the Potomac. Suddenly there was the growing roar of a large jet approaching, laboring, and then it burst into sight, slammed across the bridge with a deafening crash, and plunged into the icy river in a cascade of water, shattered parts, and flying bodies.
79 of the 85 people aboard the Air Florida plane either died instantly or within a few seconds of being thrown into the frigid river. But the crew of a police rescue helicopter arriving moments later saw 3 women and 2 men clinging to the broken-off tail section, which remained afloat, and another man treading water nearby. The helicopter hovering overhead lowered a rope to the man treading water and hauled him off to safety. Then it came back and lowered the rope to the group hanging onto the tail section. A balding man with a small beard caught it, but before the rescuers could pull him up, he handed the rope to Kelly Duncan, a cabin attendant, and the helicopter took her away. When it returned, he caught the rope again and again handed it to someone else. Arlen Williams, 46 years old and a sedentary worker, must have known that he was no better equipped than the others to endure the ordeal, and that his chances of survival were slipping away fast. And he had a lot to live for. Divorced sometime earlier, he had recently fallen in love and become engaged. Yet the 3rd time, and possibly a 4th time, eyewitness accounts vary, that he caught the rope, he gave it to another person. When the helicopter returned one last time to him, he was gone.
Kevin. Just sideways. Just sideways.
Raise your hand.
That's good, thanks.
Well,
Okay.
see, that's the way I can speed listen. Up to starting, I keep track of all the books that I read. From January 1st to the present, I've read 22 books, most of them around 300 to 500 pages. And look, it's pretty easy. I put my earphones on, I can do my work, I hang this on my belt, and here I'm reading away.
Show them the speed that you usually listen to the...
Oh, well, I'll tell you, my wife is better, but let me see.
But remained afloat, and another man treading water nearby. The helicopter hovered overhead, lowered a rope to the man treading water and hauled him off to safety. Then it came back and lowered the rope to the group hanging onto the tail section. A balding man with a small beard caught it, but
I can get right about there if it's a novel, but if I'm reading something that's technical, I slow it down quite a bit.
Does any of you understand what's just being said? Raise your hand if you can understand that. A couple of you, huh? It's not kind of hard, isn't it? Okay, hands down.
Now, the most important thing I want you to know is that it may seem difficult for you now, but if you were to start with a book, and as you learn to concentrate, speed it up, yeah, you could do it. You could do it very good, very easily.
Christy, you've had a question for a long time. We'll let Christy ask her question.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
The catalog that you give for the tapes, is that in Braille?
No, I get them, they come on tape. And what they do is they tell you who the name, the author, the publishers, the dates, and then they give you a little description, a narrative of what the book's about, and then they read the book jacket and all the comments by the publishers, and how long it is, and how many tapes. And what you do is, it's a 5-digit number. You just turn in the number, like it might be 33201, and then that'll stand for a book. So when I phone in our library, our local library is on Broadway, I'll phone in, my librarian's named Diane, and I'll tell her 5 books, and I'll just give the number. And they'll come to me in a container, I'll read them, then I'll take the mailing label and reverse it, and it'll go right back to them.
Easy. Okay, Jeff, your hand's up right in front of my video camera.
Just before I get away, I also get 2 magazines. I get True West, the history of the Old West, and I get National Geographic on audio systems.
Great. Okay, Jeff, go ahead.
You're like at a movie and you're walking and one of the seats it was pulled down because it was stuck there and you didn't have your cane. How would you know that it was in front of you?
I think you're asking how would I know my chair's gone?
No, if there's something in your way, how do you know it's in your way
You don't have your cane.
if you don't have your cane with you?
Well, I'll tell you, I just don't go doing that in a new house. I was over at my brother's house this Sunday at a birthday party, and really I have to depend on a lot of people in a new situation. But at home, I have a mental picture of my complete home, and I usually don't have too much trouble going up and down the hall in one room or something like that, going in the restroom, going out the garage, because, like I say, I make a mental picture of it. But it's pretty hard, because in order to propel yourself in a wheelchair, you need both hands, and it's pretty hard to do 3 things.
Okay, Victoria.
How do you know what?
Let him know where you are.
Well, I'll tell you, I really am sorry, but I forgot my clock to show you, I have a clock I hang on my belt. It's audio. And I press a button that says the time is, it'll tell you the time, and it's also an alarm clock. And I'm sorry, I just forgot to clip it on my belt. But let me show you some Braille watches. Let's see. Here's a woman's, and see, it opens up. And if you could see it, you can see that there's little dots that correspond to the hours. And by gently touching it, you can feel the hands, and you can feel the little dots that tells you the hours. That's a lady's watch. Maybe if I use a larger one, you could sort of tell. Can you see this one? Okay. I'll flash it around. But can you see the little dots and the handles? That's just like most of the watches you have around, with the exception of digital.
But the dots are in Braille, huh?
Yeah, the dots basically show the positions.
Yeah, they really show the position. They're not in Braille numbers.
No, they're not actually in Braille because you know that this is the top, and what's up here?
At the top of the clock?
What's down here? What's over here? And over here? That's exactly the way when my wife puts out my food, she'll tell me something's at 12 o'clock. So she says mashed potatoes at 12 o'clock. I'm not going to be looking for them down here at 6. And if she tells me like say we're having some kind of meat and it's at 6 o'clock, I just know exactly where to tap with my knife and fork.
Clever.
So that's what we use. And we have other kinds, like a men's pocket watch. This is a little, can you see that?
Yeah, it's nice.
So that's used in the sense of, but the one I usually use that I hang on my waist that has a voice synthesizer, I use my sense of hearing.
Okay, Liz. Okay, Liz.
I'm over. And I have two questions.
Okay.
One question is, do people really ever make fun of you?
Well, I'll tell you what. Most of the people, they don't make fun of me. They make fun with me. You know, like I have a real good buddy that tells me, Monty, the reason you don't get a seeing-eye dog is because you've got to be smarter than a dog. See, when we're not making fun of people, we can have a lot of fun with people. And I don't think it's serious because, if somebody was making faces in front of me, how could I even tell? And who would care?
Good point. Okay, Brent. I got one more minute. Go ahead.
And who's your favorite football player?
My favorite football player?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you my favorite, but then I don't think any of you will know him. His name is Dotson. He was a halfback on the championship Grand Pacers this year. I knew him because my nephew played football with him. And the reason he's my favorite because he had a tough thing to do, because he didn't even go out for football until he was, I think, a sophomore. And he just didn't know if he could handle it because there was so much pressure against him to work after school. But he believed in himself, and he did his job, and he said, if I get my work done up, can I play ball?